Welcome to a story that goes beyond statistics, a story about what's really happening in America's fastest declining cities. You might think it's all about crime, bad politics, or failing schools. But the truth is far more nuanced, and in many cases more hopeful than it seems. Let's dive into the surprising reasons behind the decline of some once thriving American cities, and the lessons we can learn from them. First, let's define what we mean by declining. When we talk about America's fastest declining cities, we're typically referring to places experiencing rapid population loss, economic stagnation, rising vacancy rates, and eroding infrastructure. These cities were once industrial powerhouses or vibrant hubs of commerce, but are now grappling with an uncertain future. According to recent U.S. Census data and economic studies, cities like St. Louis, Missouri, Cleveland, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan, Birmingham, Alabama, and Buffalo, New York are among the most prominent names on the list. But why are people leaving? Reason 1. The end of the industrial era. Many of these cities flourished during the rise of manufacturing in the 20th century. Detroit was the epicenter of the automotive industry. Cleveland was known for steel and heavy manufacturing. Buffalo was a key shipping and logistics center. These cities were magnets for jobs and the American dream. But then globalization happened. Factories closed. Jobs went overseas. Automation reduced the need for manual labor. Between 1970 and 2000, Detroit lost nearly half of its manufacturing jobs. Cleveland saw over 100,000 jobs disappear. As opportunities dried up, residents moved away in search of better prospects elsewhere. This shift was not just economic, it was cultural. For many, it felt like the heart of the American dream had been ripped out. Reason 2. Suburbanization and white flight. In the mid-20th century, federal policies and highway construction encouraged the growth of suburbs. White, middle-class families moved out of urban centers into newly built suburban neighborhoods. With them went resources, tax revenues, and investments. This left behind cities with shrinking tax bases and growing challenges. Schools suffered. Infrastructure aged. Crime rates rose. As more people left, the problems became harder to solve. And in many cases, these trends were reinforced by discriminatory housing policies, redlining, and disinvestment in minority communities. The result? Urban decay, reinforced by decades of systemic inequality. Reason 3. Poor urban planning and governance. In some cities, poor planning and corruption made a bad situation worse. Funds meant for revitalization were mismanaged. Public services were neglected. In some cases, leaders failed to adapt to changing times. Take St. Louis, for example. The city is surrounded by dozens of small, independent municipalities, each with its own government. This fragmentation has made coordinated development and resource sharing difficult, contributing to inefficiencies and disparities. Meanwhile, in cities like Flint, Michigan, infrastructure failures have had devastating consequences. Most infamously, the water crisis that exposed thousands to lead contamination. Reason 4. Changing demographics and birth rates. Another often overlooked factor, demographics. Many declining cities have aging populations and low birth rates. As older residents pass away and younger ones move out, there are fewer people to fill the gaps. The cycle continues, schools close, services shrink, and entire neighborhoods fall silent. Between 2010 and 2020, Cleveland lost over 6% of its population. Young people are simply not staying. In some neighborhoods, homes sit vacant for years. Entire blocks become ghost towns. But here's the surprising truth, it's not all doom and gloom. Despite these challenges, many of these cities are quietly undergoing transformations. Not necessarily headline-grabbing revivals, but grassroots efforts, innovation, and resilience that often go unnoticed. In Buffalo, a city once defined by its economic decline, the medical and tech industries are slowly becoming pillars of a new economy. The Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus is a hub of research and innovation. Young entrepreneurs are turning old warehouses into co-working spaces, art galleries, and startups. Detroit, often viewed as the poster child for urban collapse, has seen billions in private investment in recent years. Downtown and Midtown are seeing a resurgence, with new restaurants, galleries, and businesses opening up. Artists, tech workers, and immigrants are reclaiming vacant spaces. In Cleveland, the health and education sectors, known as EDS and Meds, have become the backbone of a revitalized local economy. The Cleveland Clinic is a global leader in healthcare, and Case Western Reserve University attracts researchers from across the globe. These comebacks aren't perfect. The benefits aren't equally distributed. But they show that decline isn't always permanent. The role of community. Perhaps the most powerful force in these cities isn't government or big business, it's community. Across declining cities, you'll find block clubs, church groups, nonprofits, and neighborhood associations working to keep hope alive. In Birmingham, community leaders are using art, history, and storytelling to reconnect residents with their roots and build a shared future. In St. Louis, neighborhood organizers are turning vacant lots into community gardens and outdoor classrooms. And in Youngstown, Ohio, a place often overlooked in national discussions, residents have launched land banks, education initiatives, and tech incubators aimed at attracting new blood to the area. These cities matter. Their people matter. And their futures, while uncertain, are still being written. Conclusion: America's fastest declining cities are not dead. They are transforming. Not always quickly. Not always visibly. But beneath the surface, new narratives are taking shape. Narratives of reinvention. Of justice. Of survival. So the next time you hear about a dying city, look a little deeper. You might be surprised at what you find. Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories of the world's most powerful figures.